See us, guys. Second point, we are listening room as always, so please respect your neighbors, take care of your cell phones, and keep the talking to an absolute minimum. I know everyone around you appreciates it. With that, we have pretty much I think all of my favorite people are here tonight on stage. So, starting with Paul Romaine on the drums, John Gunther on the saxophone, Ron Miles on the trumpet, Mark Patterson on trombone, Mark Zillow on the bass, and our two leaders tonight, the lovely Judy Hibbler and the great Dale Bruning.
Thank you, Kevin. I hope there aren't any other musicians in the audience who play up here who aren't his favorites. Well, thank you so much for coming out. And this is April 29th, and it happens to be Duke Ellington's birthday today. So happy birthday, Mr. Ellington. We love you madly. We're so happy to have a lot of our friends here in the audience, and one of the people that we really miss from Cuvo time is Miss Susan Gatchett-Reeves. Susan, it's really wonderful to see you here. Thank you. So since Kevin introduced the band, then we're going to get started on our tribute of timeless music of Mr. Sonny Rollins. Theodore Walter Sonny Rollins was born September 7th in either 1929, 1930, or 1931, depending on what time period he gave his birth year at a different time. And so he's either 80, 81, or thereabouts. He grew up in Harlem, living close to the Savoy Ballroom and the Apollo Theater, where his idol Coleman Hawkins played. At age 9, he briefly studied the piano, but did not really have his heart in that instrument. Next, he began to study the alto saxophone, and 2 years after that, at age 16, he switched to the tenor sax. In fact, young Sonny would sit on the stoop of Hawkins' home, waiting for him to wake up from his gig of the night before. Now, Hawkins may not have gone to bed before 4 a.m., but Rollins would sit there for hours waiting for him to get up in order to badger him with questions. Well, Rollins' teenage neighbors were Jackie McLean, Kenny Drew, and Art Taylor. These four young men formed a group and played for dances in the late 1940s and early 50s. By the early 1950s, Rollins' playing was creating so much excitement among the leading musicians of the day that they were jockeying for position to get Rollins to play with them, and he did. He played and recorded with Thelonious Monk, Miles Davis, Max Roach, John Coltrane, the Modern Jazz Quartet with John Lewis, Percy Heath, Kenny Clarke, and Milt Jackson, Clifford Brown, Babs Gonzalez, J.J. Johnson, Bud Powell, pick a name. He did all of this, by the way, before he was 20. During the 1940s and 50s, drug and alcohol abuse was rampant among many jazz musicians, and for a time, Rollins too fell victim to it. He admitted himself into a rehab to kick his habit, and he did. Now, this fact of his life is well documented, but I mention it here in order to point out the kind of courage it took him to admit to this illness in the first place, and then to do something about it. That action is nothing short of heroic. I admire him tremendously for doing so. Well, after his rehab, he left New York for Chicago for a few years, and I will address what happened there later on in the program. During this time, Rollins acquired the nickname of Nuke, as he resembled the Brooklyn Dodgers' great pitcher, Don Newcombe. In Miles Davis' autobiography, Davis said, Sonny and I were in a cab when the cab driver turned around and looked at Sonny and said, "Damn, you're Don Newcomb." And Sonny started talking about what kind of pitches he was going to throw Stan Musial that night. So they had a lot of fun with that. Well, throughout his career, Rollins has maintained a level of such musical integrity and inventiveness that generations after him study and emulate him. While we are focusing on him as a composer tonight, we are also including other standards which have become associated with Rollins for his interpretations. On a 1954 recording with Miles Davis's leader, the Bag's Groove, Davis chose 3 of Sonny's original songs for inclusion: Olio, Doxy, and Erigen, which is Nigeria spelled backwards. In addition to this being a rather singular achievement, all 3 songs immediately became jazz standards. Interestingly, from 1954 to within the last decade, Rollins has been recording on his own label titled Doxy. For our opening song tonight, here is his song, Doxy. welcome Gunther. Well, in 1956, Sonny began recording the first of a series of landmark recordings issued under his own name. His song, Valse Hot, valse is French for waltz, introduced, quote, the practice now common of playing bop in 3/4 meter. St. Thomas initiated his explorations of calypso patterns, and Blue 7 was hailed by Gunther Schuller as demonstrating a new manner of thematic improvisation in which the soloist develops motifs extracted from his theme. Well, over the many years since 1956, Rollins has been a major force in jazz, to the point that in 1983, he was selected by the National Endowment for the Arts as a jazz master, and in 2011, he was selected as a Kennedy Center Honoree for his contributions in jazz. Yet another major award was bestowed on Rollins on March 2nd, 2011, when he received the Medal of Arts from President Barack Obama in a White House ceremony, where Rollins accepted the award, the nation's highest honor for artistic excellence. On behalf of the gods of our music, stated our president. Here is Valse Hot. 1940s and into the 50s. Rollins worked and recorded with most of the leading jazz musicians I spoke of earlier. It was while he was in Chicago when he joined Clifford Brown and Max Roach in 1955 and 56. With Brownie's tragic death in a car accident at the end of 56, Rollins returned to New York. He played and recorded virtually non-stop. And occasionally, he slept a little bit. Well, our next selection was written in 1963, and it depicts his roots from the Virgin Islands, from which both of his parents immigrated to New York. Rollins' song was based on a traditional island melody his mother sang to him when he was a little boy. Here is the calypso song, St. Thomas. Dale Bruning, guitar. Jones also collaborated with Gus Kahn, Jack Yellen, Gordon Jenkins, and other lyricists on some of the biggest hits of the day, including It Had to Be You, I'll See You in My Dreams, The One I Love Belongs to Somebody Else, There Is No Greater Love, and You've Got Me Crying Again. Isham Jones died in Hollywood in 1956, the year before Rollins recorded his Way Out West album. Rollins included There Is No Greater Love on this album. He used the great bassist Ray Brown and drummer Shelly Manne on this recording. Now, two of his song selections might be considered a little winsome, I'm an Old Cow Hand and Wagon Wheels, not tunes usually identified with a jazz musician. His attentiveness to lyrics, however, was the determining factor in choosing There Is No Greater Love for this recording, which was, by the way, Armand, based on a theme from Tchaikovsky's Concerto No. 1 in B-flat minor. Recording a pianoless trio in 1957 was a fairly new idea in jazz. Many years later, author, poet, and NEA official A.B. Spellman interviewed Mr. Rollins about playing without a piano. Rollins said this, I played with some great piano players, like Bud Powell, Monk, who was more of an unorthodox player, gee, you think, and Tommy Flanagan. But I like playing without a piano because it gives me more of a certain freedom. A piano is a very complete and comprehensive instrument and makes people think this is music. Sometimes when people hear me, they may not think it's music anyway, he laughed. Well, included in the liner notes of Lester Koning, the founder and head of Contemporary Records, Rollins said, "I read the words of this song to Ray and Shelley and explained that while blowing, I like to think of the words and what they meant. It helps me." Well, Koning said, quote, "No greater love becomes more than just a pretty ballad. Even Sonny's tone becomes fuller and warmer, and the performance communicates on a highly emotional level." Well, to pick up the flavor of Rollins, here are John Gunther, Mark Simon, and Paul Romaine with "There Is No Greater Love." It's hot up on the stage, but they were really cooking that one. Yes, and Dale wants to say something too.
Boy, cut the band in half and look what happens. Wow. John, Paul, Mark, what a wonderful job. I really appreciate that so very much. It's always a privilege for me to be on the bandstand with these gentlemen, all of them so talented. My goodness, Ron Miles, and Mark Patterson, John Gunther, Paul Romaine, Mark Simon. Wow, for them to get on the bandstand with this old guitar player. And Jude always emphasizes, for those two words, the old part, old guitar player. It's just a real privilege for me. Hope you're enjoying it out there, listening to us as much as I've learned things about Sonny Rollins. I've been a Sonny Rollins fan for years. Jim Hall introduced me to Sonny Rollins. I've learned more about him tonight than I've ever learned. Just because of this lady.
You know, sometimes I get asked what I enjoy more, doing the research or performing, and it's really a toss-up. I love doing both, but the research is so much fun. And the most difficult part is when somebody's lived for 80 years or 81, however long, and he's accomplished so much in his life. The worst part is what to leave out, because it's all good information and it's really fun. So I just thought there were things in here that appealed to me, and I hope it's likewise for you too. Thank you. From author Will Friederwald, he suggests that God Bless the Child is both sacred and profane. Quote, in her autobiography, Lady Sings the Blues, Holiday indicated an argument with her mother over money led to this song when she said the line, God bless the child, it's got his own. The anger over the incident led her to turn that line into a starting point for a song which she worked out in conjunction with composer Arthur Herzog Jr. It is also likely a biblical reference from either Matthew 25, verse 29, for unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance, but from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. Or from Luke 8, verse 18, take heed therefore how ye hear, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken even that which he seemeth to have. And from Senator Burlingame's words online, composer Herzog did not write a lot of songs, but he penned some gems with Billie Holiday, Don't Explain, and God Bless the Child, which are forever linked to her. With Irene Kitchings, who was the wife of pianist Teddy Wilson, who played with Benny Goodman, you know, Herzog collaborated on Some Other Spring and Ghost of Yesterday, both of them initially recorded by Holiday. Well, Rollins recorded this song on his album, The Bridge, which I will talk about later. Here is God Bless the Child. Dale Bruning. Gunther. All of these arrangements are inspired by Sonny Rollins, but Dale has worked really hard on all these charts, and they're spectacular when you have spectacular musicians, and we have both arrangements and musicians, so we love you all. The tricky part about playing on a Sunday in late April when the weather's gorgeous is that not always are both the shows well attended, so we made the decision to cancel out of the early show and just focus on this one. So in your program guide it says Oleo is going to be the last song of this set. However, if you'd like to stick around, we have two more songs after that from the next set. So Oleo won't be the last song. Well, so much had happened to Sonny by the time he was 20 that he became overwhelmed with the recognition and acclaim he was receiving. He kept up a rather insane pace as everyone wanted him to play with them, and he did, until 1959. He felt that he needed to practice more without the obligation of performing. Well, rather than listen to complaints from his neighbors about his practicing, Sonny Rollins took his horn to the Williamsburg Bridge, which crosses the East River from Manhattan to Brooklyn, and practiced. After 2 years of doing this, 1959 to 61, he felt ready to get back into the performing and recording world again. His 1962 seminal RCA recording called What Else? The Bridge featured Jim Hall, Bob Cranshaw, and either Harry Saunders, Ben Riley, or Mickey Roker on drums. Well, Sonny Rollins is a legend and a legacy, not just because he has lived for 81 years, but because of what he has shared with the world with his many talents. We thank him for everything he has given us. And I was going to say, to end our show tonight, here is one of the Sonny Rollins jazz standards called Oleo. They're still going to play Oleo, but it's not the end of our show, so please stick around. Here's Oleo. Well, if you don't remember when our next song, If Ever I Would Leave You, was recorded, try thinking about this tune. Itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. Or maybe you'd rather not. Both songs were written in 1960, and both were hit songs for that year. From the ridiculous to the sublime, or something. My favorite story about the Lerner and Lowe song comes from pianist Ralph Sharon. When Ralph wasn't working as Tony Bennett's music director, he worked with many other singers, among them Robert Goulet. Ralph said of Goulet's version of this song, "Bob had so much volume in his singing that his sustained notes could break a toilet bowl." Isn't that great? Appealed to me. For Rollins, he recorded If Ever I Would Leave You, either in his 1962 or 64 recording sessions, which also included the same personnel as found on The Bridge with Jim Hall, Bob Cranshaw, and one of the three drummers, plus several percussionists. His song selections were as eclectic as befits his personality. A highly intellectual man, Rollins has studied many forms of religion, Eastern and Western, the philosophers, the poets, the mystics. He is one of the few instrumentalists who really pays attention to the lyrics of the songs as well. Here is If Ever I Would Leave You. We're doing last minute editing here.
I don't know about you folks, but I'm glad we're able to do a couple of extra tunes here tonight. It goes without speaking before we play our last tune that I'm just really grateful to be on the bandstand with these talented people, starting with my esteemed business partner, Mrs. June. When people talk about our partnership, they say, "Oh, does she sing? No. Does she dance? No. What does she do? Oh, okay." But we all, I mean, I think I can speak for the musicians on the bandstand. Sometimes we learn things that we wouldn't otherwise know about the composers and the songs that we're playing. So we're indeed grateful to you, first of all. And then these talented musicians, I'm so grateful to be able to be on the bandstand with them. They're all so talented. They all teach in college. They're professorial on the daytime. And they're these jazz musicians at night, and I'm sure glad that's where I come in. But, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Gunther. Mr. Paul Romaine. Mr. Ron Miles. Mr. Mark Simon. And Mr. Mark Patterson. So grateful to be on the bandstand with them. And we're also, speaking of being grateful to Dazzle for having us. The staff always treats us so well, beginning with Kevin Lee, wherever Kevin is. Kevin, we always appreciate your help. I mean, he's just Johnny on the spot for our needs, make sure that our sound is appropriate, and on, as well as the staff here. So, Dazzle and staff, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate it. And I'm grateful one more time to this fine audience that we're playing for. My goodness, what a kind and attentive audience, and it's a pleasure to play for you. I hope you're enjoying listening as much as we're enjoying playing for you.
Everything he said, I echo. And also, Jerry Cusack is our man behind the video camera. Jerry's a fine guitar player, and we just love him so much. Thank you, Jerry, for all your work for us. Like Dale said, now we really are going to play the last song. I didn't know we were doing these 2 additional songs, so most of my remarks I've had to X out, because you've already heard the information. So let me just conclude on, we're going to do Blue 7, and I've included different critics' remarks about Sonny Rollins and his reviews and so on. And this one comes from an Italian gentleman, Piero Scafari, I think. I probably butchered his name. I apologize. But he says, a quartet with Tommy Flanagan on piano and Max Roach on drums recorded Saxophone Colossus in 1956, the real launching pad for Rollins' career as a leader, containing 2 of his most celebrated compositions, St. Thomas and Blue 7, the manifesto of his thematic improvisation. This was improvisation based on melody, not on chords, as bebop was, or on modes, as Davis modal jazz was. Unlike the traditional kind of melodic improvisation that was basically an embellishment of the original melody, Rollins' improvisation was a process of recursive variation and therefore of melodic reinvention. Aren't you glad you don't have to remember that? And all you have to remember is that this is going to swing. That's the most important thing. Here's Blue 7.